Merry Christmas, Titans fans. I'm sorry you have to deal with the Grinch of Ryan Tannehil. Welcome to Titans Today here on Chat Sports. We appreciate you watching. As always, I'm your host, Jay Sanders, and today we're going to talk about yesterday's game, what went wrong, what went right, and ultimately the silver lining behind all this. But Tannehill made his first start since Week 6, and, well, it went about as expected. Didn't exactly play well and never looked great, and had some crucial mistakes late in the game that led to the loss. Unfortunately, that is how it went, but here's the good news. That actually kind of was in the favor of the Titans. I'll tell you why here during this show, but make sure you're subscribed. I know the Titans are not exactly having a fun little stretch here, obviously eliminated from playoff contention. Didn't get to see Will Levis and had Ryan Tannehil kind of blow the game, but make sure you subscribe because guess what? We're going to keep continuing coverage throughout the offseason, tell you about draft stock, tell you about free agency, tell you about everything the Titans can do to make sure this team is better next year. And guess what? They have a ton of cap space. So you're going to want to stay subscribed so you know exactly what's going on with the Tennessee Titans all season long. Let's take a look at Ryan Tannehil versus the Seahawks, as it wasn't exactly a good performance. 18 for 26, 153, 5.8 on the average, no touchdowns. He also had no interceptions, though. I would describe this stat line as just mid. It wasn't exactly good, but I'm not going to call it bad. But he never looked good, I think, is the thing you keep looking at. He had a couple good passes to Okonkwo, had a decent pass here or there to a couple other receivers, but he never, settled in. It never felt like Tannehill had control of the game like Will Levis does. And I think that's important because this guy's been in the league for over 10 years. He's been a guy who likes to call himself a veteran, who likes to say he's the veteran of this team. But he wasn't able to look like that at all yesterday. And I will say, the Seahawks defense is very good. But if you can't go and play to what you should be playing to, it just doesn't make sense. And the fact that the reason he's even on the field is because Will Levis was hurt just kind of makes it all crazy. Now, I can take the stat line. I can take the never looking exactly right. The thing that made it worse, though, was his mistakes late in the game. And those mistakes, you have a 1-minute drive. Ryan Tannehil, you're a veteran, right? He takes 2 sacks. Not 1, 2 sacks in that final drive. That should not happen. Now, I understand that obviously pressure comes and sometimes you can't avoid it. But there was multiple times in that game where Ryan Tannehil would take a drop back. He would step up, the pocket would collapse. He would have a little bit of time to just throw it, but instead he just did this and ducked and just waited for contact. I don't know if he was told to do that. I don't know if that was just the game plan, but there was definitely at least 3 times in that game, and one of them being in the final drive, where he had plenty of time to throw it away, and instead, he just took a sack. And this is unacceptable because he has been in the league for over 10 years. You should understand by now game situations. You should understand by now what you need to do in those certain situations. And he did not understand it, it seemed like. It seemed like he was a kid lost in the woods. It's tough because I want to sit here and be mad at Ryan Tannehil, but I don't really know the other option. I think I would have liked to see Malik Willis, but at the same time, I don't know what he would have done. Maybe you want to see Malik Willis. He'd at least be more fun, right? Let me know in the comment section below. Would you like to see Malik Willis or Ryan Tannehil? Obviously, I don't exactly trust either of them, but I think Malik might be a little bit more fun, so let me know in the comment section. Type W for Malik Willis, type T for Ryan Tannehil. Who is a quarterback you would like to see next week, and if Will Levis is still out? So then what's the silver lining? Well, I think you have to look at this from a back perspective, and basically the loss, it helps you. And I'm going to tell you why it helps you here in just a minute, but before that, let me tell you about Prize Picks, the sponsor of today's show, the reason we are here. I'm telling you, Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America, and it's clear to see why, because it's easy to play. They have multiple stat types. They got a lot of choices. Plus, they're running a thing right now called Pickmas, where they're giving out 12 days of branded promotions. Now, today is the last day, and it's $5 free. $5 free in promo money that you can use on Prize Picks. So go download the app right now. You're going to get $5 right away. And then on top of which, you can get a $100 deposit match if you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match for $100. They also have a special pick today of KD, Kevin Durant, half a point. Pretty simple. Now, I hit on one yesterday for 25. I picked the more on Okonkwo's receiving yards. Obviously, that hit. And then I did a game in the noon slot, or the 325 slot, along with the night slot, because I wanted to have fun in every game. So I got that with Okonkwo and the more on his receiving yards. Evan Ingram, the more on his receiving yards. And then Russell Wilson, the more on his pass completions. 5 for 25. You can win up to $250 if you just put 10 in there, going from 2 to 6 player stat projections. Picking just more or less, super simple. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. What makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app? Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out to Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. The silver lining is you get a better draft pick. You are now in the top 5 in terms of draft stock. And with the Patriots win last night, you are a couple losses away from potentially jumping yourself into top 3. And I don't want to say it's a possibility because it's not exactly yet. Technically, you could jump up into the top 2. And in that case, you could be sitting on Marvin Harrison. You could be sitting on, I hate to say it, but if you're pick 2 and you have Caleb Williams sitting there and the Bears took Marvin Harrison, I think you have to take him. Now, we'll have to see if that actually happens. The likelihood of them getting pick number 2 is still pretty slim, but not out of the realm of possibility. Now, the good news is no matter what at this point, you're top 5 probably. So you're in a good position to get a top-tier offensive tackle in Olu Fashanu or Joe Alt. Both the guys are generational talents that I think would really help out this backfield and hopefully help out Will Levis, who should be back next week. We don't exactly know, but I think the thing that we have to look at here is he was practicing on Friday. He was wanting to play on Friday, and he was, quote-unquote, just not there yet to play. That's fair. You want to protect what you could be your franchise quarterback. Obviously, there's a lot of things still kind of roaming around here, but it kind of opens up the mind to, well, could he play next week? And I say that with a grain of salt because if he is this quote-unquote potential franchise quarterback, do you play him next week? I'll say this. My heart says yes. I want to play him, but my mind says no. Because I can just picture all the injuries that he could go and sustain out there that would ultimately hurt his career, hurt him, and just be kind of a tough thing to swallow. So I think it's tough because I want to see him out there, but I know that the right decision at this point is to not play him. Ultimately, it's time to just tank. I think that's the thing. You have to look at this and say, it's time to just tank. Now, we said this for a while, but you have to just sit here and realize that the Titans do not need to win any more games. I mean, the Patriots, they kind of effed themselves last night by winning. That hurt their draft stock. And at this point in the season, when you're out of the playoffs, that's what matters more than anything. Draft stock. You have 3 quarterbacks. You don't play this one. You don't play this one. You play the other 2. And honestly, we have the king of tank in Ryan Tannehil. Listen, this guy knows what to do when the tank. I mean, just look at him. He knows what he's doing when he's tanking. So we can for sure just play him out. Boom, boom, bang. Lose the rest of the next 2 games. He'll be on his merry way out. And there we go. The one stipulation, though, is you don't exactly know what Malik Willis has. I think I would rather try him out just to see what exactly he has for backup QB purposes next year. Or there's the potential for trade value. You know, what exactly you want to do with him. So I think I'd like to see that. But if you want to just tank, you got the guy right there. Make sure you're subscribed here on Titans Today. We're putting out news and rumors pretty much every single day of the year. And we're going to have you covered overall, no matter what the Titans do, with picks, with trades, with free agency. No matter what, we're going to have you covered. So if you're interested in that and you want to have informative, entertaining, and ultimately you just want to have a good place to stay, just hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds and ultimately doesn't mean you have to watch every video, but it means that you're going to be informed no matter what. We appreciate all of you watching right now, and for now, peace out, Titans fans.